is a pressure-filled day today, these next 2 days, as we try to reach those goals that we had set for ourselves. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you are going to use the remaining time to try and get that goal. We said every minute counts, and it's not over until it's over. So I just encourage you to keep on keeping up. So this evening, let me just quickly start in with the questions from last Thursday. And we have a few of them, and then I have a topic that I wanted to share with you. So the first question that we had was for internal hemorrhage. What products we can recommend for internal hemorrhage? And the first thing I would recommend is that the client sees a doctor so as to establish the cause and the source of the hemorrhage. And then apart from that, from the Neolife side, as usual, for internal wounds, we recommend chelated zinc, which helps in wound healing, as well as multimineral to replace the minerals lost through the blood, and vitamin B, which is useful in helping the body to make blood. Then the second question was about amoebiasis, the infection by amoeba. And again, here it is important to visit the doctor for amoebiasis because it is a parasite which infects a person. Then it needs some aggressive treatment, which the doctor will be able to provide. And to assist in the recovery process, we'll recommend from Neolife flavonoids, garlic, and acidophilus if you have it in your market. The third question was persistent high blood pressure. And as you know, with many of the conditions we discussed, they are lifestyle related. And so this persistent high blood pressure, we would recommend that the person does some examining of their life to see if there is something in their lifestyle that is causing them to have this persistent high blood pressure. They can examine and resolve stress, because we know a stressful lifestyle does contribute to high blood pressure, as well as to clean up their diet. I think one of the sessions we had before was what we mean by cleaning up the diet. That is eating natural foods and minimizing or processed foods and so on. Then from the Neolife side, for the persistent high blood pressure, we recommend Provitality, garlic, and lipotropic adjunct. Okay. And then the fourth question was someone who was asking about ulcers. And again, here I recommend that they see a doctor, because the doctor will prescribe antibiotics that help to get rid of some of the bacteria that contribute to ulcers. And in addition to that, from the Neolife side, in assisting their recovery, we recommend acidophilus, chelated zinc, and of course, aloe vera juice, aloe vera plus. And then the next question was about diabetes. And as we said in one of the sessions some time ago, diabetes is very much on the rise on our continent. And so we should be aware that we take the precautions that help us not to develop this. But of course, some of the things we said last time when we were talking about diabetes is to eliminate sugar and processed foods from the diet, as well as to have an active lifestyle, so as to help the body to metabolize sugar well. Then from the Neolife side, for diabetes, we recommend Botanical Balance, which helps in sugar metabolism. We recommend Tree and N, which ensures cellular feeding of the cells, as well as making sure that the cell membrane is operating well. And then fiber tablets helps to carry excess sugar out of the system. So that is for diabetes: Botanical Balance, Tree and N, and fiber tablets. Then the next question was about arthritis. Again, here we have had this question often, and we have said that they are to recommend for the person to try and find which food trigger the painful attacks from arthritis. Certain foods worsen the problem, and we have example. It differs with people, but some people find that wheat products make things worse. Some find that the nightshade family of foods, for example, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and so on, can contribute to triggering the attack with arthritis. And from the Neolife side, we recommend full motion, which helps in joint repair, as well as Pro-Vitality, which provides omega-3 for healing the joints, and as well as Multi, which provides multivitamin and so on. So full motion and Pro-Vitality for arthritis. And then the next question was about gallstones. And again, here, the gallstones we know are a sign that the gallbladder is not working well. And so some of the lifestyle things to do to help the gallbladder to work well is to eliminate sugar, as well as unhealthy oils, and to reduce fried food, because the gallbladder is the one that is involved in the digestion of fats. And if it's not working well, then we don't overload it with unhealthy fats or fried food. So those are the lifestyle things to recommend. From the Neolife side, we recommend Herbal Digestive Complex for those who have it in their market, as well as BetaGuard and Multimineral. Okay. Then the last question I had was for someone who asked for supplements to help reduce snoring. And just to mention that depending on why the snoring takes place, the supplements may or may not. Some of the things that can lead to snoring are sinus infections, so sinusitis, as well as which can be due to some allergies. Sometimes also excessive use of alcohol can lead to snoring, and if a person is gaining an unhealthy amount of weight. So those are some of the things that can be underlying the snoring. And so depending on what the cause is, then it's good to go to the cause. But from Neolife, we can recommend Herbal Respiratory Complex, especially if we are dealing with sinusitis or allergy, as well as Flavonoid Complex and omega-3 salmon oil, which reduces inflammation of the air passages. For some people, it may simply be that they need to sleep on their side rather than on their back, because sleeping on the back tends to worsen the snoring. And for some, it might be useful to see the doctor just to get behind what is causing the snoring. And also because snoring makes it impossible for a person and their partner to have a good night's sleep. So one might consider going to have it checked if it does not respond to some of the supplements that we are recommending. So those are the questions that were in from last time. And then the topic for today was still under the self-care series that we have been talking about. And remember, we say that the reason we are interested in self-care is that each of us is the first phase of Neolife that everyone sees, which means that the better care, the taking care of ourselves is exactly taking care of our business. Therefore, we cannot neglect to take care of ourselves. In addition to that, our supplements are supposed to supplement a good lifestyle. So if we are not taking care of ourselves, the supplements, why for us to mention some of these things about taking care of ourselves, so that it works hand in hand with the supplements that we take and that we recommend to other people. So today I wanted to speak about something that is a bit off the usual path of topics, and this is our non-physical health. So far we started with the skin, which is the outermost, and then we've been going inwards. We went on to speak about movement, we've spoken about eating healthy and so on. But today I wanted just to remind us that a human being is not only the physical body, we are made of both body and spirit. And our good health, to be truly healthy, we need to fulfill the needs not only of our physical bodies, but also of our spiritual side. So this is not to say that I'm trying to convert anyone to religion, but the one aspect of ours in which religion is important is to fulfill our spiritual needs. Therefore, that is something we need to address in our lives, whatever your particular calling or preference is. It is good to know that since we are not made only of matter, we have some spiritual needs, which actually will contribute to our good health. So if you are a religious person, that is one of the things that fulfill your spiritual needs. And we should set aside time for it and cultivate it so that it contributes to our overall health. What are some of the spiritual needs that we can think of or we are aware of? The first of all is truth. We need to have truth in our lives because we know that even liars hate to be lied to. All of us like to know the truth. When we ask a question, it's because we want to know that we want a truthful answer. And so truth plays an important role. It does not operate on our physical body, but it definitely is part of our health. And this also plays a role in our business because we deal in relationships in our business, and relationships which are founded on truth are long-lasting and beneficial. Relationships that are based on untruths and dishonesty always come to a bad end. So that is why I say that truth is one of the important needs of our non-physical health. The next one is, I'm not saying them in any particular order, just saying them as I thought of them. The next one is love. All of us are in need to love and be loved. And this is an essential need from the very moment we are born. We require people to love us, and we in turn learn how to love from being loved. So in our lives, this is very important, and we should set aside time and attention for it. And this, of course, is not only in our business, but also in our family side. It's an important thing. And there are others, of course, as I said, religion is another one, but to just know that we need to be attentive to these matters, because not only as business people, but as human beings, we need to set aside time and take care of our relationships, because you know that when all is said and done, our relationships are what define us and is what will remain behind after we are gone. So we should be quite mindful of our relationships and how to maintain them and keep them well. So how do we go about increasing or improving truth and love in our life? Some of the examples I had was how to eradicate lies from our lives is to start making a resolution to always deal truthfully with the people in our lives, whether in the family or in the business, to resolve to get out of the habit of telling lies, even small lies, just to deal truthfully with everyone that we have in our lives. Another thing is to think about which kind of a person am I, and which kind of a person would I like to be. Then I need to look at the difference between the two. Who am I versus who I would like to be? If the difference is very big, then there's going to be some mental conflicts in my life. So what I need to do is to think about how to align the two, to work towards becoming the person I want to be. And of course, in the business, we say we will speak about the amount of money I would like to make to have a lifestyle, but even as a person, and how we can tell whether we are the person we would like to be is, how do I behave within my family, and how do I behave to visitors or guests? Because sometimes we may find in our family that when we have visitors, we are very nice and everybody is polite and behaves well. But when we are by ourselves, sometimes we might be rude, we might be unkind, and so on. The attempt here in bringing truth into our life is to try to be the same person, whether we are at home or away, whether we are alone or with others, to try to be the same person, not to have these split personalities that I'm one person in the office and an entirely different person at home, that the people who know me at home and the people who know me at work might not recognize me as the same person. So by looking at myself in the different spheres in which I operate, I will be able to say, okay, this is who I would like to be, and this is where I'm not reaching up to where I want to be, and maybe put in place some goals to improve, because we know we should have goals in all aspects of our lives, including the aspect of becoming the person that we want to be. Another thing I wanted to mention in terms of relationship is trauma. All of us, is the human condition that we may have traumatic experiences. And in our continent, of course, we know that there are many incidents of trauma that can take place. We might get physically injured, but we may also get injured in a non-physical way by abuse, by neglect, by all kinds of things. It is good for us to acknowledge if there has been trauma in our lives, because sometimes, the reason I'm mentioning this is sometimes, let's say we lose a loved one, you may find that people are pressing the bereaved person to just be strong, to not become so heartbroken. But we need to understand that mourning has got its place in our lives. If something sad or bad has happened, it is important to acknowledge it. And if we are in sorrow, it is good to grieve, because it is part of the healing process. And so rather than keep on emphasizing the need to be strong, rather it's better to support ourselves in those difficult conditions. And of course, we know that some of us in the past month have lost loved ones, and we still have you in our prayers and in our hearts. And we hope that you are receiving the support that you need in order to heal the trauma that the loss has caused. The third thing I wanted to mention in our non-physical health is stress. And stress is talked about a lot nowadays, but sometimes we are simply told to manage stress, which means we accept the stress as part of our lives and we just try to find ways to manage it. I think maybe a more useful thing is to try to resolve the stress so that it no longer is a problem with us. And you remember just now when I was studying the question, one of the things I was saying that leads to high blood pressure is stress. That is not the only illness that is related to stress. I'm sure those of us in the medical line of work can tell us that stress is at the root of many of the lifestyle illnesses that we speak about. And so I think that we need to, one of the ways with which to start resolving stress is to get to know ourselves, so that we know how much stress we can withstand and what we can do in order to reduce the stress or to resolve the stress. Of course, on the Neolife side, we recommend the use of aloe vera plus, the drink, which helps to soothe our systems, as well as herbal rest and relax. And I think maybe 2 sessions ago, I spoke about the importance of sleep because of the role it plays in resolving and helping us to remove stress from our lives, because it's the way in which our minds heal. We did say that we should set an alarm for going to bed, as well as to aim for sleeping a minimum of 6 or 7 hours, and to target maybe 8 hours of sleep. Then the other thing I wanted to mention here is something that maybe seems obvious, but we need to learn to say no. When the answer is no, we should not be afraid to say no, because sometimes we say yes, even when the answer is no, because maybe we feel that if we say no, people are going to dislike us, or people are going to think we don't care about them. But when the answer is no, we should say no, because that is just being truthful. The reason I say that is that a lot of stress is related to saying yes when we should be saying no. So we might say no to some demands that someone is making, which are unreasonable, and which we know that if we fulfill that demand, we are going to end up making ourselves ill or putting ourselves in great difficulties. So I want to just recommend that we should not to be unreasonable, but if you realize that you are not going to be able to do something, to simply be truthful and say, no, I am not able to do this, please excuse me. So it's not a fight, it's simply stating a fact. This comes as part of knowing ourselves, so that we know what we can and what we cannot do. Then a few things just about relationships. We need to understand the importance of love and respect in our relationships. As I've already talked about love, but respect is also very important. We should make a point of not only respecting others, but respecting ourselves and our loved ones, because every human being appreciates respect. But at the same time, respect is not a right. As the relationship grows and goes on, we have to earn respect. And if we have lost respect, we need to work towards earning it back. But none of us have the right to disrespect another person. So it's always an important thing to be respectful to those in our circle of influence, including our children, because that is how they learn respect, by watching it being practiced by the older people in their lives. Then the ability to negotiate is important in our non-physical health. We should be able to negotiate something. If what we are being asked is too difficult, we can try to negotiate something which is better for us. So for example, if someone needs me to go and do something and is making it very urgent, I can say, yes, I can do it, but can we do it on this day rather than that day? So negotiation is an important part of relationships and is an important part of family life. Even with our children, we should teach them how to negotiate by negotiating with them, not simply to put rules and insist they must follow the rules. Rules are good, but negotiating is an important skill for everybody, because it makes it possible for us to have relationships which are not tyrannical or where there's a lot of frustration. Negotiation just makes us feel that I have a say in what is happening and I can make adjustments that make things more suitable for me. Another thing I want to mention just in passing, for parents especially, is the ability to let go. You know that maybe I'm saying this is important to me because of the stage at which our children have reached, where we really have to let them make their decision. Probably a number of us have got older children, and we know that this can be a very challenging thing to learn to do. But it's important in relationships the way that we raise adults is by progressively letting go and letting them have more and more autonomy in their lives, depending on how they handle the freedom that they have. Then finally, I would like to mention that we all of us are in search of happiness. Every human being wants to be happy, but we need to understand that it is not fair to depend on only one source for our happiness. We need to be spiritually fulfilled, but at the same time, Pascal, as good as he is, cannot give me all the joy I need in my life. I will need the joy supplied by my friends, by other relationships that are fulfilling. So we should not depend on just one person for all our happiness, because they may find that the pressure is too much and it might make the relationship quite difficult. So we need to have more than one relationship from which we get joy. And I think that when we look at our work can bring us joy, our leisure can bring us joy, our families can bring us joy, and our friends can also bring us joy. So we should divide our time accordingly so that we fulfill that need, non-physical need for joy by maybe taking some of these points. I hope some of them are useful and practicable for you, so that you can attend to not only our physical health that we speak about in our business, but also for our non-physical health, because both of them are important. And we know that even the I once again want to wish you an excellent month end. And as I always say, every PV that comes through your business means that you have made a positive difference in someone's life, and you have made a positive contribution to our environmental health. Because remember, our cleaning products, for example, are an excellent way to take care of our environment at home and even further out, like in our water systems and our oceans and so on. So I will leave you now with Pascal, who is going to take it away from here. But all the best wishes from us, and I look forward to hearing the questions that you may have with which I can help, and also to see you next week, Thursday, God willing. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Betty, and all of you for that wonderful session. I think that the session I'm going to take is a bit more to do with the business than the personal information. First, just one moment. Let me share the screen with you. All right, so the session I'd like to share with you this evening is to do with, yes, let me put the slideshow. Okay. What I'd like to share with you today is building yourself. I think Betty has done a very good session on some of the things that are important to build you as a person. Your relationships, being able to say no, reducing stress in your life. What I'd like to do is, what are you doing to build yourself? What is it that you're doing to build yourself? You see, the following factors are common to all of us in the business. If you're a guest today and you haven't started the business, or you're starting the business, let me give you a brief idea on what we do. We distribute products for a company called Neolife, and Neolife manufactures 4 ranges of products: health supplements, herbal alternatives, cleaning products, and skincare. Those are the products that the company makes. So our goal is to take these products to the marketplace, different people, and we do it through individuals. That is really what we do, nothing more, nothing less. But you see, if you're a distributor, the following factors are common to all of us. The products are exactly the same. The compensation plan, where you live, the environment is the same. The question is, why is it that some people are more successful than others? The only difference is you. You are the only difference in all these factors, because the products that you have in Kenya is the same products we have in South Africa. The compensation plan we have in Nigeria is the same one we have for Tanzania. So the only difference is you. And if I were to ask you a question, how much are you really worth? If you really were to be asked to write a figure, how much value would you put on yourself? I know you cannot measure the value of a human person, that I understand. But you see, we have to find a way to measure our worth so that we can know whether we are shortchanging ourselves, we are shortchanging our families, and we are shortchanging society. What I would like you to do tonight, before you go to sleep, I'd like you to calculate your financial freedom number. What is financial freedom number? Financial freedom number is, take a pen and a piece of paper or a booklet, write down all your expenses for the month. If you're living in a rented house, your food, transport, medicine, insurance, if you drive a car, petrol, all of those things. Write down every single expense that you have. Write down even some of the money that you need to save for the future. And multiply that figure by 1.25, that is added by 25%. That will be a financial freedom number. Do that simple exercise. It will give you an idea of how much money you need to make in your business to achieve financial freedom. If all your current sources of income dries up, can this business support your family? Let me ask you another question that, I came across this question, and when I wrestled with it, I found that it's one of the most difficult questions I've ever wrestled with. I see Alice is watching this presentation very intently. If your life was to be packaged in a box and labeled, what value would you put on that label? What figure would you place on the package? Assuming, I know this is fictitious because you cannot do that for a human being. You can't really measure the human being. But if your life was to be packaged in a box and labeled, what figure would you put on it? The reason I ask that question is sometimes we really shortchange ourselves and we don't give ourselves value that is actually due to ourselves. you is this: what would it take for you to master this business? If the company says that in the next 12 months, the company wants to evaluate people to see who have really mastered this business, what would it take for you to master the business? Can somebody say that you're a master of the business? You know, these questions are not easy to deal with because they cause us to move out of our comfort zone into the pain arena. I also want hello.
Yes, Pascal, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think the thing went off.
Yeah,
My apologies, everybody.
It's okay. Go ahead.
All right. So I was asking you, spend some time to think. Think about your future. Think about what you'd like to be. Think about your relationships. Think about the income level you want to reach. The reason I say this is that sometimes we are too afraid of silence because silence will we will confront ourselves with silence. That is why most people are constantly rushing about and doing so many things because they're afraid of silence. I want to suggest to you that take some time to be quiet and to think. Not worry, but think. Because worry is when you create mental pictures of the things that you do not want. But thinking is applying your mind to the situation of your life. There's a big difference between the two. When you put this 1 hour aside per week to think, you'll begin to notice a difference in your level of thinking. You'll begin to notice your life will become calm. Your life will start to pick up direction. But the reason why we're afraid to think is that we're actually afraid of silence, because when we are silent, we confront ourselves with the challenges in our lives. The other thing I want to recommend is, do you have a study program? Do you commit yourself to study this business, to learn the marketing plan, to learn about the products? And I would suggest to you not to get involved in what I call WIG. WIG is wasteful information gathering. That is, when you see some curious information, you want to know it. For example, if you're a mechanic, why would you be reading the sex life of a butterfly? Or if you're an architect, why do you want to read about the amoebas in the bottom of the ocean? You see, we have only 24 hours a day, and God has given a limit up to the amount of time we're going to live on earth, but we don't know when that will be. So what I suggest to you is spend some time thinking about your future, spend some time thinking about yourself, and then focus on studying things which are related to your life goals. If you read for 20 to 30 minutes every single day, you'll be able to read at least 1 book a month. I suggest to you, get some. If you're in Kenya, I think if you buy a good book, it's about 700 to 800 shillings. That's about $7 to $8. Invest this in your reading. Invest this in the information that you want to make you a better person. Because you're going to only succeed in this business if you're a better human being. In terms of your relationships, in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your skills. I'm going to suggest the following things that are important if you're going to invest properly in yourself to become a truly gifted person in this business. The first thing is you need to practice, or you need to develop the ability to speak. All right? I know that from the studies I have read, the thing that people fear the most is speaking in front of others, strangely enough. But you see, when you practice this, this will come very easy for you. There is no shortcut to this except to practice. Okay? So practice speaking in front of people, prepare, practice, and deliver your message. The next thing is you need to learn how to motivate and lead people. And the first person you must motivate and lead is yourself. I probably think that it's not easy for somebody to motivate another, because the word motivate comes from the word motive, which means to have a reason for doing something. I can inspire people, but motivating them is very difficult. You need to motivate yourself. Why? Motivating yourself means you have a reason for doing things. Why? Because you're a spiritual being. You're a conscious being. It means the things you do them out of a reason. Okay? So learn to motivate yourself so that you can inspire others and lead others. Number 3, create leaders by empowering them. Now I put there in bracket ASK. ASK is an acronym which means attitude, skill, and knowledge. What is your attitude towards the challenges that you have? Do you see challenges as things negative, or do you see challenges as things that help you to become a better person? You know, one of the things I have learned through this business is that the things that you don't like to do, the things that you're afraid to do, those are the things that will make you a very successful person. You know, this morning it rained in Pretoria, and Betty and I like to go to mass every morning. So when we came back, it had just rained, and then I saw our gutter was full of leaves and dead leaves and sticks. So I got a ladder and climbed on the gutter and started cleaning the gutter. So a friend of mine who used to be a colleague at the engineering company I was working with was passing by the street, and he saw me and he greeted me. He was with his wife. And then his wife mentioned, "Oh, such a horrible work that you're doing." Then I said, "Well, somebody has to do it, and if it's me, I need to do it." But after they went, I began to reflect. Why did she say that the work I was doing was horrible? And it began to dawn on me that some of the things that we think are horrible in our life, those are the very things that can make us better people. One of the things that I know most people are going through is something called call reluctance. I am sure all distributors know exactly what I'm talking about. Call reluctance is when you've got some people that you want to speak to about the business and you're reluctant to pick up the phone. That time the phone is now weighing 20 pounds, you're even afraid to carry the phone. The things that you don't like to do, those are the things that are going to lead you to success. So you need to change your attitude about the things that you need to do to make yourself successful. Exercise. A lot of people don't like exercise, neither do I. But I do it because I want physical fitness. I know you enjoy eating, but do you need to eat all the time? No. You eat at specific times so that you can nourish your body. So examine your attitude towards the business, examine your attitude towards the things that you do. S stands for skill. Skill comes from repetition. If you want to be skillful at anything, you have to do it many times. I was reading about Michael Jordan. When he was a teenager, he was not picked for his high school basketball team, and he went to his room and wept. And he made a decision that from then on, he would go to practice, he would throw 100 free throws until he hits 100, scores 100. If he goes to 96 and misses one, it starts from the beginning. That's why Michael Jordan was the best basketball player in the world. Practice. If you want to develop any skill, you have to do it many, many, many times until it becomes automatic. And the last thing is knowledge. You need to develop your knowledge about the products. You need to develop your knowledge about the business, about the compensation plan. You need to develop knowledge about yourself. Self-knowledge is the beginning of wisdom. Know thyself. Know about the company. Know your distributors. Know the people who you build this business with. If you do these things, correct attitude, build your skills, develop knowledge base, you're going to be very successful in the business. The fourth thing, you need to be very good at storytelling. This business, if you learn how to tell stories properly, you're going to influence people's hearts, not even minds, but hearts. Our eldest son is 30 years now, and I remember I started telling him stories when he was 2 years old. Every night before he slept, I would conjure up a story in my mind and tell them stories. Even about a week ago, I was telling them the same stories in the family. And I discovered that one of the most powerful ways to teach people is to tell stories. So if you are going to be successful in this business, learn to tell stories very well. And the last thing is, you need to develop a life that other people can model. If you think about it, look at your life and ask yourself a question. Is my life worth modeling? Can people model their lives on the way I live my life, in terms of my discipline, in terms of building the business, in terms of relationships? Can I be an example to the people I lead in the business? If you do the following things, if you do the following things we suggest, you invest in yourself, success will be yours for the taking. The last thing I would like to discuss with you is about the business system. A friend of mine from Nairobi was asking me, what is a business system and how can you make it duplicable? And I thought about it, and for me, the business system is what actually sustains our business. You know, when our children were younger, and we live in Pretoria, we used to take them to McDonald's once a week or once every 2 weeks to give them a treat. So as our business began to grow and I started studying this industry, I also began studying different businesses, and I discovered why McDonald's was very successful. At that time, McDonald's had 38,000 outlets around the world, and when the business was worth $64 billion. Why is McDonald's a very successful business? Because the person who developed the McDonald's system is called Ray Kroc. He was a paper cup salesman, and he bought the McDonald's restaurant from two brothers. The reason he became extremely successful is because he built a system. He found a way to everything to be systemized so that he doesn't have to be there. He spent 8 years without withdrawing any salary to perfect the McDonald's system. And that is what made McDonald's. So I used to go to McDonald's restaurant and just observe how they were working. You will notice that if you're in a country where there's McDonald's or even KFC or any of these food franchises, you'll discover a few things. The layout of the restaurant is the same throughout the country. The color they use is the same. The pricing structure is the same. The uniform the employees use is the same. The chips are cooked for exactly 4 minutes and then removed. Everything is so systemized that the only thing that the person buying the franchise needs to do is train his people to use the system. Now, this is applicable to our business because it allows you to build a business even where you are not. So the following things make up our business system. One is personal enthusiasm. Why do I put it at the top? The word enthusiasm comes from a Greek word, entheo, which means the God within. You see, people will be attracted if they feel and sense that we've got a mission in life. If they feel a sense that we are going somewhere in life, that we have got a sense of destiny, and that is expressed through our enthusiasm. That's the first thing about our system. The next thing are the tools, videos, CDs, magazines, brochures, things we can give to prospects to have a look at. And I'm very strong on tools because the tool replaces the person. You see, somebody who is new can send a video to anybody. They don't have to understand the business. They just send a video, say, look, I've started a business I'm sending you a video, have a look at it, let's chat. That is all you need to do. Or a magazine, or a CD, or a brochure. Tools are very effective in building the business. The third part of our business system is weekly business opportunity meetings, like the one we have on Monday evening. This is important because human beings are creatures of habit. If they know that every Monday there's a presentation, it gives them the courage to speak to prospects to invite them for a meeting. Number 4 is weekly training events like this one, so that we can learn the business from people who are more successful than ourselves. But what I've also discovered is it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, if you open your ears and your eyes, you're going to learn something even from people who are new, okay? Number 5 is monthly recognition rally. For example, we are going to have a recognition rally next week on Thursday during our training session. Why is it important? Because recognition is a very important part of our business. 6 is the annual convention. I know because of COVID-19, conventions have been disrupted. For example, in South Africa, we were supposed to have ours on the 22nd of August, but it didn't occur. So the next one is next year in August. But every region, the company has the convention so that people can celebrate their success and recognize people who have succeeded. Number 7 is annual team weekend rally, where different teams get together for a Saturday and a Sunday to share experience, to share success, to learn more about the business. For me, one of the weekend rallies is where the penny dropped for me, and it changed our lives completely. And then the different team incentives. This is to reward people who are really working in the business. That is what our business system is. So if you are starting the business, make sure you plug onto these activities to make a business grow. But there are also some personal actions you need to take as a distributor to make sure the system works for you. One is you need to master the 4 basics. What are those 4 basics? Name list, invite, show the plan, follow up. Name list, invite, show the plan, follow up. Why? Because that is the way you build a network. Second thing is daily reading and listening to CDs. I would recommend this very strongly because your business will never grow beyond what you as a person have grown. And the last thing is using and retailing products. The company pays us for doing 2 things only: using the products and taking the products to the marketplace, to different consumers. That is what the company pays us for. Nothing more, nothing less. The company doesn't pay me for training. The company doesn't pay me for reading a book. But the company pays me for training people in our team to move the products from Neolife to different users. That is what the company pays me for. And the reason I read this book is so that I can become better skilled in doing it. That is why I read these books. So there is need for you to constantly read books, to constantly skill yourself. If you invest in yourself, if you keep reading good books, if you keep associating with, I was listening to one of the public speakers from the US. He was saying, if you get around 5 fools, it's just a matter of time before you become the 6th one. If you get around 5 successful people, it's just a matter of time before you become the 6th one. If you get around 5 drunkards, it's just a matter of time before you become the 6th one. It's called the law of influence, okay? So be very careful about the people you spend your time with. So with those few words, I want to hand over back to Paul to close our meeting. And it's really been a pleasure to share this session with you, because I truly believe that if you invest in yourself, you will see a reflection in your bank account. And there's nothing that can stop you from achieving your dream. Thank you all, and good night.
Thank you so much, Pascal. I think it is very clear for everybody who is on this call today. I think it was one of the most amazing training. Every time it's just fresh, and it's giving us more information how we can be able to build ourselves. Betty has been able to speak about the self-care, and Pascal has been able to talk about, building your life skills so that you can be able to become a better person. And I've been able to see the comments all over the people who are speaking today. And Pascal, it really shows that we do appreciate the things that you teach us, and I can only see greater leaders, greater people out of these sessions that we are doing every other time. So we truly appreciate. So I'm going to share these the record today before you go to sleep, because I know by the time tomorrow morning, everybody will be looking for a record of this. So I'm going to share it right away. And we appreciate your time and everything you do to us. We are more inspired and more fired up to go and continue to build our business. So thank you so much. Who is on this call today? I think we are coming to the end of our meeting today. Make sure you use those notes and continue to share with your friends, with your team, so that you can continue to build your business. So from me, Pascal and Betty, would like to thank you and wish you a lovely night, and tomorrow all the best as you go forward to close the month. So thank you so much. God bless you and good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye, Pascal.
Bye-bye.
Good night.